right. Machu. So, we're beginning this transmission of spirit, yes? Preparing thy energies, thy intention. I'm so grateful to always start these lives and be part of these lives. I just need my charcoal, you guys. I need my charcoal. Let me grab my charcoal. It's right here somewhere. There we go. So we can right away get the energies or the space cleansed and purified, yes? I'm sorry I'm starting late, you guys. This is a little bit later than I wanted to, but I was finishing up the video I had promised about the soul, the spirit, and the consciousness. That's actually part 1. There's going to be a part 2 and a part 3. So it just takes me longer to make longer videos, like the long form videos. But this is video tonight, this live transmission of spirit, as we talk about Starseeds and Indigo Children and what's called the guardian angelic nations. That's not just some new age vocabulary. That's an actual thing that we're going to talk about tonight. And if you guys missed last live, please check it out. It was pretty good. And also I did a live. It was like spontaneous live on Instagram. And so you want to check that one out as well, if you missed it. I'll put a little bit of amber, and then we'll get started here. So grateful to have you guys come here. I missed you. As always, eventually I want to do 3 lives a week and 4 and 5 lives a week, but I'm still preparing all this hardcore. There's a whole series of videos coming out, so I'm so excited about that. Let me make sure everything's working. You guys can hear me okay? Everything's okay? All right. And this is exciting. Talking about the guardian angelic nations. Yes? Good. I had confirmation. I'll say hello to everyone. I don't like starting late, but here we are. We're doing it. And always relax. How can you go into a deep space of your spirit without relaxing? How can you find God without relaxing, Holy One? Higher evolution. Your higher, you would say, mission. Finding that which is inside requires silence. Going and actually closing your eyes to open this eye, this awareness, and your heart and your mind, thought, which is your mental body is very important. It's actually your ability, your way to reach your higher consciousness. So a lot of New Agers say, get rid of the ego, but you don't get rid of the mind. The ego is the 3rd chakra. You don't get rid of your 3rd chakra. What you do is you cleanse and heal your negative ego. The positive, the useful, the important part of your mind, your 3rd level of consciousness, is necessary. You're going to be using the logic to connect to your heart and your throat and your 3rd eye. The techniques that you learn utilizes your mind, and we specifically use the mind to create symbols in different colors. So we're using color, light, color, sound, symbol codes, and the base codes of matter. and we access the base codes of matter through our consciousness. We can access our DNA template. And so this is a whole massive thing that's happening on Earth, you guys. Maybe you don't like see aliens and UFOs on a regular basis, but you can guarantee that there is these guardian angels. You call them angels because that's the level of consciousness that they're at. But they're also multidimensional extraterrestrials that utilize the physics of the creation of the 15-dimensional time matrix to get here. They use UFOs, science, physics to get here, and also their own Merkaba fields. Okay? While we're just stumbling around here trying to develop those parts of ourselves, well, they're using it like immediately, actively, like it's second nature, and it should be. That's what the point we want to get to. All humans have the capacity of being psychic, and we all are trying to, you would say, develop that anatomy, the spiritual anatomy within us. At the same time, trying not to be confused and from the distorted New Age. You know, if we're going to learn from something that's distorted from different sources like religion or New Age or something that's trying to, you know, it doesn't mean they're all intentionally trying to distort the information, but there is certainly some that are intentionally aware of. It's like outside the compartmentalization, because, you know, you hear, who wrote the Bible? Well, God wrote the Bible, but who actually did this? And you know, it was actually over thousands of years. It didn't just happen yesterday, but this has been changed over thousands of years. And the New Age is kind of the newer thing, but so is science. You know, it used to be religion that was the foundation of our societies. And it wasn't for the past couple hundred years, you know, 200 years or so, where science became the new guiding light. Where science is now considered the new God. Okay? Now, from our point of view, the innerchristos point of view, law of one point of view, religion and science don't have the full picture. You can find some truths in each, but they're half-truths. They don't have the whole truth. They haven't combined it all together. And that's why this is spiritual science. That's what the law of one is. And so I welcome you guys, and as we talk about the guardian angelic nations and how this all comes together in today's spiritual awakening on Earth. We're going to actually talk about the different alien races who are serving amongst what you call the universal Trinity. Now, that's not a biblical term, that's not a New Age term, that's a guardian term. Universal means, first of all, the universal level, you know, instead of the personal, planetary, galactic level. Well, we're talking about the universal level. So that's part of it. The universal Trinity. Trinity having to do with three. There's three original you would say primary founders, races. Blue flame, called the Elohai. And the gold flame, they're called the Seraphi. And the violet flame, they're called the Brahmarama. So each of these creators, primary, they're not called gods. They're creator gods, like some of the New Age wants to call the Anunnaki, or, you know, someone who created us. But no, we're talking about, you would say, their technical name, or the Guardians call them Solar Rishi, or Brenua. And so that's in the Lyran language. These beings are actually made of hot plasma. They're spherical, and they're like, you could say, stars. You would see their light is blazing like a star. And these beings are the ones who created all the extraterrestrials. So these Solar Rishi, now we're already starting to talk about the Guardians, right? These are how it started. The Guardians, well, they're a collective. They're not like got a name for that one and a name for that one. They identify with the universal identity. Okay, we have a little individual personal identity on Earth, well, it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger throughout creation. And so we're going to be talking about the universal Trinity and all the extraterrestrial races that are part of the guardian angelic nations, part of the guardian alliance, part of those who serve the law of one, the good guys, Machiwa. So thank you for joining me as we talk about this tonight. And it's always important to know these higher teachings, these higher evolution, the ones who live there, because it's part of who you are. It's part of our multidimensional identity that you can bring in now at the three-dimensional awareness. We're aware here, but we also can be from our psychic activations, become aware of these guardians. A lot of us see them. A lot of us are experiencing them in one form or another. And the real truth is that in the back of your mind, just remember you are these guardians. So thank you for being here, and let's say hello to everyone. Just drinking my, this is actually lemon water. I heard a comment at the end of the live. I saw it at the last second, but they said, oh, lemon's bad for your teeth. Hello, we're not brushing our teeth with lemon. Yeah, it's bad for your teeth, but we're not we're actually squeezing the juice out and drinking it and not swishing it around our teeth, are we? You're always going to have some people saying some negative shit about positive advice, right? If you look on the alkaline chart, it's a spectrum, and way at the top is lemons. What's up? Makaya. We have Ancient Universal Divinity. Greeting, Holy One. Thank you for sharing space with us. Wolf of Saturn. Oh yeah, son. Excuse me. In capital letters. Hello, beautiful Holy One, says Galactic Guardians. Wolf of Saturn. What's up? Makiwa. What is God? All are God. It's actually elementary definition. What is God? Everyone. Everything. Everywhere. Everything, everyone, everything, or everywhere. God is omnipresent, omniscient. This important thing is omnipresent is everywhere, not some places. People want to change omnipresence to not everywhere. But in the teachings, we understand that God is everything and everyone. That is what is God. We can go deeper, but hello, that's the elementary definition. Blessing, says Julia. Holt creates. How are you? Love you guys. Fabian, how's your neighbor been doing? Thank you for asking. I just saw her. She knocked on my door and asked if I wanted to go to the store if I need anything, and so she seems okay to me. She's waiting to get out of her regular HMO. She can't stand it. They've been terrible service. They're incompetent. They first said that she had a mass on one side of the body. They said, and then they did a mass. They said now she's got something on the other side instead. And then they said, oh, we got to redo your biopsy because it didn't come out the right. And then they're threatening and rude to her. She doesn't want to be with them. She's scared of them. She doesn't want to be around these doctors. I introduced ideas to her about self-healing. Okay, so they're planted in there. But she still wants to switch to a different doctor if that'll help. But maybe it'll be better than this HMO. So that's what's going on with my neighbor. Thank you for asking. Celine, hello everyone. Cool man is what is mentation? I don't know what mentation is, sorry. Maybe you could elaborate. And I can already tell you though, you ask if it's a sin. Well, just so you guys know, we're not coming from the religion point of view. Okay, there's actually a very negative aspect to religion. So, and this concept of sin, it doesn't exist. Okay, sin, a sinful nature, or you're born being sinful. This is complete nonsense. And actually, excuse me, I gotta itch. It doesn't exist. There's no such thing as sin. What you have is your alignment. You have, are you pro law of one, pro life, pro humans, or are you against life? Are you in fear? Are you you're pro fear, pro guilt, pro shame, and you behave in these ways. You behave in anger. You behave in hatred. These are vibrations. These are frequency oscillations, vibratory oscillations. And you would say it's a choice that you make to speak this and walk this way. Okay? Which is anti-Christos. It is anti-God. It's against life. These principles are you would say, an intentional illusion, a lie, an act that has been brought on from the fallen angelic teachings, because they took the original holy information, you would say sacred teachings from the law of one. Hey, all are God, all are one. Now they don't say that anymore. Religion does not say all are equal, all are united in God. Now there's been replaced. It's been switched. The concept of sin has been put in there. It's nonsense, and whatever you want to ask about what is sin, it's not sin. This is law of one, and you are God, you are sovereign, you are free to make your own mistakes, to make your own victories, to make yourself successful, to make yourself in spiritual bondage. You have that free will choice because you're making the thoughts and you're making the actions. That was a good question, though. Thank you. I just don't know what that word is that you mentioned. Mentation. Maybe you meant meditation? Corvette Speeder, hey everyone. Julie says perfect timing. Sarah Holder, greetings. Much respect. Stardust Goddess, Machiwa. All right, we got this. We got this. I made up my mind. Welcome, Celine. Much respect. And this doesn't mean you have to be here. Just like Indigo, and Starman want to sometimes take off. Of course. Excuse me, my nose again. Excuse me, guys. I don't like to do that on camera. Stephanie Clark. Hey, homie. Love you. Thank you. What's up, Stephanie? All right. I like your positive vibes. Julie. Noel. Iguana. Machiwa. I made it on time. You sure did. See, maybe I was meant to start late, right? Lace True. Hey, love. There is no late. You said it. Nova. I haven't heard in a while. You're looking good. Thank you so much. I'm actually very active. We're here almost every day. I mean, there's videos almost every day. Now, we do these lives on Tuesday and Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Normally. Right now, it was like 7 o'clock. Sorry. For some of you guys on the East Coast, it's probably like already 10 o'clock. So we got Tanner. Hello, Holy One. Hugh, programmer, thank you for being a member. You guys, if you see anyone with green name, that means they're a member supporting Christos Avatar. Thank you so much. Stephanie, Associations, Shades of Light, Ancient University. Thank you so much, you guys. We're just so grateful to have this community of Starseeds in the house. You guys are awesome, and you represent what Ashiana, our teacher, calls the shield. When we come together, when we're present together in a group, it's called the shield. We're guardians. We're called guardians for a reason. And these guardian angelic nations, okay, these are ancient beings, ancient extraterrestrials. They're races of beings living on different planets. And while Ashiana, she introduces you to the Guardian Alliance right away excuse me, even in the first video she's ever made, which was called Aminti. She was making classes in people's houses. Excuse me again. Excuse me. She calls the Aminti classes. 1998. The first thing that comes out of her mouth was talking about the Guardians and the Guardian Alliance. I am a representative of the Guardian Alliance. That was the first thing Ashiana has been said. And it's a very big, important thing. Talking about these Guardians. Talking about these extraterrestrial beings. And so they are multidimensional beings from other higher evolved worlds. So Earth is part of this spectrum of life, of consciousness. And we heard of the concept reincarnation. Well, these guardians can reincarnate in a lower reality field. It's called downstepping. Mostly you're ascending and going upwards. Well, you can project yourself downwards. A guardian, for example, an angel level guardian, or an archangel level guardian, or an avatar level guardian, these beings can literally, just like Jeshua. Jeshua was an avatar level. And Jeshua got here the same way everyone gets here, through the fetal integration process. That means you take your soul, your spirit, and it goes into a process, into the fetus, into the baby's embryo, after 33 days of your mother, inside your mother's womb, and becomes alive. That's what Indigo Children, that's what Starseeds, that's how we get here. Now, technically, there is another way to get here called walk-in. Walking in would be a little bit different, okay? So there's something called braided walk-in, but the first soul that came into the body, that went through the fetus and all that, that one grew and developed the body high enough, developed the body high enough energy, high enough consciousness for the avatar to step in. Okay, so that's called a walk-in. And if you guys want to know, according to what Ashiana says, all Indigo type 1s are walk-ins. So if you don't think you've been a walk-in, then you're not an Indigo type 1. Now, that doesn't mean, that's bad or something, because Indigo type 2s and type 3s are also badasses. So check that out. That just trips you out when you think about that. So, but mostly Indigos and all people are going, or all Guardians and Starseeds are coming through the fetal integration. So this is something that is part of even now. If you guys read Voyagers 2, there's a lot of what you call silent avatars. I wouldn't say a lot, but there's 6 silent avatars that have been born. The same spirit that was Jeshua is one of these children who came in. You would say, well, let's look at it together in Voyagers real quick. Now remember, it's not about Jesus, it's not about Ashiana, it's not about Thavian or someone else. It's all of us. We're all Indigos. We're all Starseeds in aliens. Okay? Machiwa. But this is part of what has happened on Earth. Let me see, I have Voyagers 2 opened. Silent. Let me see if silent works. Silent avatars. Yeah, silent avatars. 6 silent avatars. I just don't have all the numbers memorized, but I do want to check to be accurate. Come on, what's going on? It's like not finding it. Sorry guys, there's a specific page. Maybe there's a reason why. Let me look at the index real quick, because there's an exact year of when this guard. No, man, stop this. 3D stuff. Current events, the shift, angelic human heritage, Atlantis conspiracy. I thought it was a main heading that I could find really quickly. But anyways, page 446. So let me go to 446. Actually, okay, I found it, you guys. So, Jeshua, the last 12 levels avatar to incarnate on Earth was Jeshua 12, also known as Jesus Christ, Sananda. Actually, that's not the silent avatar being born, but there were several other avatar soul incarnating on Earth during this period. The 6 silent avatars hold a very special purpose of realigning the DNA imprint for the human race. And you guys, that's what I've mentioned before. When you have starseeds and indigo children on the planet, now that consciousness, now that DNA is available for other earth seeds. Now earth seeds can raise up into their heart chakra, into the throat chakra, into the third eye and beyond. Because these avatars, these archangels and angels have incarnated here. So remember, that sounds ridiculous to call angels aliens, but that's what they are. They have a different body matter. They're in a different dimension of reality. And they come here, usually if they're using UFOs, then they would come through the stargates and interact with beings down here in that way. Or they just become born into the human drama through their spirit, through their soul. And they made a birthing contract. That means there's an arrangement between your mother and your father to have to create your body for you to come into the body. You're not from this history line. You're from another level. These guardians are from higher evolution. And someday will be those levels incarnate in body. Right now, most earth seeds are trying to develop their DNA just so they can ascend. So the guardians are here to help that process physically, through the DNA and conscious wise. Because think about this, if you have a pool of 3D consciousness, that's what the humans are. Mostly you have 3D consciousness, 3 strands of DNA of consciousness. A giant ocean. If you sprinkle in some 4th dimensional starseed indigos, that's going to raise a little bit. You put in some 5th dimensional starseeds, you put in some indigo ray. Now that is raising the pool of the average of the consciousness on Earth. The average consciousness raises with the higher guardian consciousness coming to Earth. So indigos are important for ascension. It's required to get the particle spin of Earth to spin faster, and the angular rotation of particle spin is shifting, changing. Earth is at one angle, Tara is at another angle, Gaia is at another angle, Armatena is at another angle, inner Earth is at another angle. 45-degree angles, 90 degrees, 180 degrees. That's how everything can be in the same space. Okay, everything's in the same space because we're at different particle spins and angles of rotation and frequency vibration, vibratory oscillation. We're at different bandwidths of frequency. And so it's the same within your own body. Your body is vibrating at a different oscillation than the consciousness indwelling it. So these are the principles of the mechanics of what is consciousness. And that's one of the things I released today. I made a video about today, but also just realize there's a part 2 and a part 3. They're all going to be between 5 and 10 minutes long. When you get too long, then it doesn't do very well in the algorithm, and people usually tend to, not want to watch something that long. I know some of you are diehards, you don't care as much about that. I thought there's got to be a page. There's a page here, I don't know where it's at. Maybe I'm looking in Voyager's 1. Let me look in Voyager's 1. Silent Avatar. No. Let me look in the Master Templar. Doesn't even have the word silent in it. So that's only talked about in Voyagers then. Voyagers 2. So it's not important, it's not necessary, but just know that Jesus is like a teenager right now. He's not going to be called Jesus. And they're called silent. That means they're not going to come to the public. They're here for their consciousness and DNA to help the earth. But it's not just about them, right? There's a whole bunch, there's millions of us Indigo children here. And specifically, there's a group of Indigo rays called the 144,000. Okay, those are the ones that have this role in this ascension period. But obviously, there's more than one. There's more than that who have their third eye open. There's a lot more than 144,000 people on a planet who have their third eye open. But there's a group of Indigos. They're called Unchechi. These Unchechi are the ones who are the 144,000. And it has to do with these Palladorians, which is also related to what's going on with all the different tribes that came through inner Earth. You know, if each one is, you would say, 12,000. 12 times 12 is 144,000. What's up? And this is part of our drama and a part of how consciousness, and just like the Guardians are doing things like this, well, the bad guys are doing their things to, you know, how we're raising the earth and the consciousness. They're doing everything they can to do the opposite, to lower the consciousness. And they use technologies. They don't have Merkaba fields like the Guardians do, because they're phantom. Now, not all these malevolent ETs are in the phantom world. You'll see references to like Orion, and then there's Phantom Orion. Oh, hello. There's also happening right now, in the process of creating Phantom Earth. There will be a Phantom Earth. There is a Phantom Earth. That means part of Earth falls into that matrix, the Phantom Matrix. And just like a lot of these planets will have a phantom version, because their race, their people, like the human race, will fall. And that's why a lot of the Guardians are actually coming. It's a rescue mission. It's to offer assistance. Indigos, Starseeds, we're, the light workers and empaths here are trailblazers. We're way shores. It's in our DNA. And we go through a process of awakening ourselves, or you can remain asleep and not help anyone, not even yourself. The purpose is to go through an awakening, and we're doing that as the Earth is going through her process of ascension. So the Guardians, start at the top, and I'm going to show that in my diagram. I just want to address the chat too as well, because we're going to talk about the different races and the names of the races, what planets they're from. Not all of them are from the blue flame, right? So yeah, let me get that diagram. I'm so glad to have you guys here with me. Missed you guys. What's up? Charles. You've had your own Mandela effect. Dan Nugent will be this universe's biggest intergalactic trading post. King Leto first. Who else is high? What's up, brother? What's going on? We might get lit in this video. I might get lit. I'm not sure. Stephen Dixon. What do you think about Draco's seal implants? Aryan Trauma's Jehovian seal. Well, yeah, a lot of those are reference. He's talking about the DNA seals. Let's say if you have your 4th strand and your 5th strand blocked. Thank you for those hearts, by the way. If you have these blocked because of your DNA, because of the seal, DNA seal, well, it prevents you. It prevents you from ascending. Maybe you have 5 strands, but they're blocked. Something is blocked in you, and some of these seals have been put on by the guardians. So, because we effed up and did some pretty horrible stuff, like tried to kill the Lemurians. Hey, some of us were in the Atlanteans trying to kill the Lemurians. It's part of a Templar seal put on us. There's also that's one of the seals is a Templar seal where you can't go to a certain level. So this is something that this planet and this whole DNA project is a guardian project. The Guardian Alliance and all, as the ones who have brought this the human people here. So they can make rules, that they can do things like put blocks in our DNA because it's our project. We're trying to prevent collateral damage to other races and planets out there, right? Because if you get a dangerous mind developed on the Guardian Project, we're responsible for that. As a matter of fact, Ashiana has talked about there being a frequency fence around Earth. Now there's less alien activity. If that frequency fence was not here, we would have a hell of a lot of activity with ships coming and going, just like they did in the ancient Atlantean days, before the frequency fence. So, there is some truth to people talking about Tartaria and how we used to be, like most scientists assume in the past, we were more primitive. It's bullshit. You don't see the whole picture. You don't see what really happened because you're not following that. You go as far as Sumeria, maybe. That's about as far as the scientists go. They don't see ancient civilizations that were actually literally in the past more advanced than we were. In the ancient Egyptian days, they did have ships coming and going. It was normal. It was not a big deal. But as soon as that happens, when you stop that from happening, you cut that off. Well, now it's kind of like a Dark Ages. Living with fossil fuels is Dark Ages. Staying in your solar system, Dark Ages. Now, of course, there's something called the Secret Space Program. They're talking about a future timeline not too far. The Secret Space Program talks about them already having ships, already being able to go to other galaxies and dimensions of reality. And already having, you would say, workings with inner Earth races or other extraterrestrial races. They talk about inner Earth in the Secret Space Program. Okay? They talk about how the Germans are part of the Germans, not all the Germans, obviously, were one of the first splinter colonies, you could so to speak, breakaway civilization. The Mayans are another example of a breakaway civilization. When you evolve on the planet, beyond the rest of the civilizations, you're going to leave the planet. Part of your race is going to leave the planet and keep on exploring. Excuse me. You don't just stop here in one place. Okay? Our myths, our science fiction is based on a lot of this, you would say, fantasy ideas. Okay? We're more evolved than you can possibly imagine, you guys, and especially in Dimension 4, Dimension 5, Dimension 6. We're like described as being godlike compared to what we are here. In our appearance, in our intelligence, in our energy, our psychic perceptions. Okay? Imagine you not just being able to go to the supermarket and get a gallon of milk, but you could literally leave this galaxy and go to another, or go to another universe. Like this. Like, you don't have to worry about gas money or how much your gas is going to take you, or if our rocket ships can actually have the fuel to get somewhere far. Okay, this is like primitive thinking. Because there's, while we fight and think about theories of free energy, that exists. Free energy is a real thing. Immortality, eternal life is a real thing. But humans are so used to mortality, short lifespans, and dying, and sicknesses and diseases that we think that's impossible. We're actually told it's impossible by science or religion. Okay? But there's parts of your memory of people living hundreds of years, thousands of years, but that's just some stories in the Bible. You guys, we have super long ancient lifespans compared to what we have here. And the technology is, I mean, if you think what you call mind to mind or telepathy or teleportation is science fiction or fantasy, not possible, that's not even close to what these beings can literally do. You've heard Ashana herself talk about we're able to make something materialize in front of you. That is truly what is manifestation. We get into this whole ideas down here on earth, what we think manifestation is. Oh, I brought money into my life. I brought health into my life. No, honey, the real definition of manifestation is something materialized, that like a physical object, with your mind, with your intention. We should be able to materialize, manifest objects. You should be able to communicate to each other mind to mind, telepathy. You should be able to have clairvoyance and see spiritual energies and spiritual beings around you, or dead people, or aliens, or in someone else's fields you may see a reptilian, or an Anunnaki, or a beetle creature, or whatever, these beings hanging out in humans' fields. People channeling these beings, you know? And that's not how you reach the guardians, through channeling. If you learn these innerchristos teachings, if you watched my channeling video, these beings, the Indigo adepts and the guardian angelics do not use channeling. Okay? They use interdimensional communication with their own DNA, within their multidimensional DNA, and realize that we have a minimum of 1,728 other incarnations. You can call them incarnations. You can call them other selves. Right? So that's a lot of other, you would say, that's your own self. That's your identity. What the Guardians call a personal Christos. 1,728 selves. 1 plus 7 plus 2 plus 8. You have 1,728 selves. Minimum. And that's who you have communication with. Not channeling someone else's template. Not channeling another race, hey, you're God's sovereign free. I'm not telling you what to do. You can do whatever you want. Just letting you know that the guardians aren't doing channeling. They're doing telepathy. They're doing communication within their own soul family, Christos family. It's dangerous to channel. And we made a video about why. It can actually literally mess up your DNA, you guys. That's according to the teachers and to the information. So a lot of you don't see anything bad about channeling, or you don't think that it's dangerous, or you haven't noticed anything negative. You guys, the teachings remind us that the guardian angelic nations, they would tell us that the New Age channeling movement was created by Jehovah and Anunnaki, which are fallen angels. They've been doing it since 1750. It really started picking up around the 19th century. Okay, when people started doing these, mediums would go and have a bunch of people in the room, and they would contact ghosts and spirits. It's the same with people messing around with Ouija boards. Okay, people messing around with these things don't have no clue about the dangers, or they're just so excited that something is speaking to them. Oh, I'm an angel channeler and you're not. Like this. You guys want a channel? Go for it. And you say, well, Davian, you channel. No, I don't. I already explained it to you what is interdimensional communication within your own personal Christos. So we have a Christos, we have a family, and you can see them. I seen them. I describe them in great detail. Ashiana does the same thing. I forgot the name of hers. She actually knows the name. I don't know the name, but I've seen these beings over and over. I've heard them over and over. And so they're divine. And you see a Lyran that's a cat person, it blows you away at first, but then you get used to seeing these alien looking beings. And know that even the future human, the angelic human, the Taranesium Antara, we don't look like this. We would look alien to us. So some of these guardians appearing to us in our fields are alien, multidimensionals, extraterrestrials. And so that is what we talk about when we talk about angels, when we talk about guardians, starseeds. They're aliens, and they come from other planets. And as a matter of fact, there's 10 million planets, planet leagues, star leagues that are part of the Guardian Alliance. That's in Voyagers. And it's also in Voyagers that there's a larger group called the Interdimensional Association of Free Worlds. That's what these guardian angelic nations are. Interdimensional, different worlds. And each world is a whole nother race. That's part of the 25 billion. Okay? So Guardian Alliance is a smaller organization of 10 million working with the Earth at our level down here in Density 1. And so this is, I'll show you on the diagram. Let me look at the chat again real quick. Machiwa. Thank you for your patience. Let me put in a little bit more of this incense. Freedom Educator, we've been cut off from traveling and all that is about to change in a few months. So that's true that we've been cut off, and this is something that's been because of the dark side and limited, and also they're using technologies, you guys, to affect the consciousness on Earth. And so there's a lot of actually activity up there. And you guys can see that in your own fields. You can see it from your own level. Some people astral travel. Some people are meditating. Some people see this in their sleep, in their dream state. Stephanie Clark, you will, Holy One. And honestly, I myself was not always, you would say, aware of my psychic perceptions. I had to develop them. It used to bother me when I first got into the information, like it was a frustration that I couldn't perceive. And I was still trying to debate in my own mind, is this all real? And guys, that's a natural feeling. You're going to get that doubt when you're trying to connect, to your higher consciousness or connect to these guardians or aliens or whatever. I didn't know if it was real. It took me a while to even have my first experience. And quite frankly, my first major experience was channeling, unfortunately. And in those days, I did sense someone else. I perceived a few times someone else was there. This is not good, and that's why I'm truly grateful about the innerchristos teachings that taught me how to do that through the interdimensional communications, and becoming aware of your higher selves. And so that's always an important step, because I get people email me, and is there a technique? You guys, if you want to know your soul level, because that's what we're talking about, your heart, throat, and your third eye are your soul level. You access this memory through your chakras. Okay? You connect there. You put intention there. You start to work on your heart chakra. There's books on it. There's books on chakras, man. Open your throat chakra, open your third eye chakra. Okay? You want to know how to get your memory of starseed back? That's how. Okay? You're going to learn a spiritual journey. You're going to learn how to create your Merkaba field. You're going to get used to visualizing these Merkabas and seeing them and working with them. That's how you do it. Okay? Is there people... I've heard Ashiana say that there's people who can connect to metaterrestrials, which is the Rishi level. They can tell you what your starseed is. But she recommends always to find it within yourself. If someone else tells you, how does that make it real to you? It's just some news, some tidbit of information. It doesn't become a real thing. You find yourself within yourself without asking anybody else. But there's still going to be people asking me, who am I? And some people will ask you guys, who am I? Can you do a reading? Okay? That's elementary understanding. You don't need to do that. You want to go within your higher chakra to find your higher identity. Because that is your higher identity. Your soul level chakra. Templar. The Guardians call it Templar. That's consciousness. That's a gateway, a doorway to what you're seeking. So open that gateway, doorway, and find out who you are. Machua. Nine shroomies are fun. Oh, I don't count the shrooms. I just powder it. I don't know how you can possibly eat it, man. That's nasty. I just powder it and put it in water. What's up, Machua? Then exactly, because different mushrooms have different weights, and some people are eating it when it's wet, and some people are eating it when it's dry. It weighs totally different. People have no idea what you're actually taking. You don't measure a dry plant or a wet one. You powder them, and now you measure. Now you know how much you're taking. Charles says, Lyran's here and Lyran's there. They will not leave me alone. Is that a bad thing? Sounds like you're a Lyran homie. So, I see Lyrans too. They're mostly all cat people, the ones that I see. Not all of them, but a lot of them are cat people. And it's incredible. It's like crazy, man, that this stuff, sometimes you like, man, how can this be real, But then you remember all the things you've experienced. I've seen a UFO more than once. I've been zapped or touched or whispered into. I've been tapped on my back when I was in Peru. I've felt beings and that I touched and they touched me. So after a while, how can you doubt it? After a certain point, just go look at all the things that have happened to you. There's no doubts anymore, right? Indigo Wizard, my Vato Loco, what's up, homie? Much respect, Indigo. So you guys, I never asked you, Celine, if I say your name correctly. If I do, just let me know how to say your name. But we have Celine, Indigo, and Starman watching our backs, you guys. But if you guys ever experience a troll in chat, we don't trigger to them. We don't start acting negative like them. We send them love and positive emojis and words and energy. We transmute their negative. So if the moderators aren't here or don't see it, you guys transmute. And I love your guys' chat. The chat is important. Remember, you're holding space in the shield. This is the shield. So we're responsible, we're loving, we're guardians, we're angelic. That's the way we walk. That's the way we talk. I mean, we walk what we talk. No, we talk what we walk. No, we walk what we talk. We do what we speak. We're not doing lip service. We actually are what we teach. That's what I'm trying to say. I've been having vivid dreams. And you guys, that's where it starts. That was Lotus Light. That's where it starts, you guys. That's where my first visions, they didn't come to me as aliens and shit at the first. They came to me as animal spirits, guys. like, you know, like shamans do, where they work with the spirit world through animals or totems, power totems. Well, I was seeing a lot of animals, and then I would have to go figure out, search and find out what that animal represented. And so when you guys see a lot of animals and spirits, that's an indication that you're being connected to by some of these guardians. And so just think about that some of the things you experience are not exactly an animal or an eagle or a serpent or a dragon. It's a symbol of an alien race. So think about that and try to figure out what it is that you're experiencing. Yeah, there was more than 99 earlier I saw. Thank you, Indigo. I see them every day, all day. Wow, Charles. You got your higher chakra going, Holy One. That's cool. Tanner. I want to make sure. You guys, did Starman come in? I just want to make sure I say hi to Starman. I guess he's taking the night off, and that's okay. We're all busy, you know. We all have these things, and there's a lot of live chat. Wow. I just making sure. I don't see Starman, but he's around. He's around, obviously. Noel, Nanotech. Starman's one of our moderators. He's usually here. He'll also have the blue name next to it. Nanotech. Yes, for sure. This is a technology. These guys are brilliant, right? You know how, excuse me, they had this, even the CIA will have these little tiny drones, little tiny insects that look like, they're actually cameras that look like insects. Well, that's not nano. That's just tiny. Hard for the eye to see, but they actually can. This nanotechnology is where you can't even see it. It's in the air. If you guys watch this movie with Johnny Depp, it's called, I think it's called Transcendence, trans something. And he uses, there's nanotech in there. You can't see it, but it's like it could be get so dense where it starts to appear. It was also used in War of the Worlds, right? With Keanu Reeves, the new one, where this robot had this nanotechnology it was using. So you saw the nanotech like a nano cloud of these particles. So that shit is real, you guys, where they can just take things and create things so small and then have control over them and make them do things. Like go inside people's bodies or use them for, they're always going to think about weaponizing this shit, right? So that's why actually you want to learn Cathara 1, Cathara 2, and 3 and 4. These technologies will teach you how to combat, how to protect yourself from those. It's an actual spiritual science. Excuse me, actual techniques you learn. That even Cathara 1 through 4 will help you in this pandemic. So, Machiwa. Alive Clothing Company. Hawks. See, that's another thing. That's exciting when you find out one of these beings, like a hawk, is your spirit guide or connection to a guardian race or whatever, connection to you and your own higher identity, and you start seeing them over and over. That's a sign. Spirit is communicating to you through this synchrony. It's a synchrony when you see this pattern more and more active in your life. And it's the same thing when you see these positive numbers, 333. Right now it says 366. 11s, 22s, you know, numbers like this. You'll see them all around you. You know you're doing something and you're heading in the right direction. And if you're lacking that synchronies, that means you need, there's things you still need to do. More incense. So frankincense. I had someone ask me what am I burning. I show you guys what I'm burning. This is frankincense resin. This is white copal. And there's a gold copal. I'll put some white copal. And some gold copal. I get this from Divine Essence. Incense, I think it's called. They have some awesome deals. And someday I'll be selling these because I want to resell them, you know? I mean, I want to offer them for sale. And benzoin. Now, there's a variety of different ones. These are just the ones I found out that I really like. And I don't have my dragon's blood with me, but I do. But that's also another one that I like. And just like herbs or vitamins or something, there's something to the energies that help you guys from incense. And you're not going to do jack shit with sticks incense. I'm sorry to tell you, that's just chemicals, synthetic. This is the real deal. You want to use incense resins or diffuse essential oils in your space. There's these little simple little diffusers that you'll put in your room. You just put drops of essential oil in it, and it will do the same thing as the incense is doing. It'll put these particulates in your air, and now that's your field. It's in your field. It's in your space. So that's what we're doing. A lot of people hold on to the meaning of like 137 or 1111 for an example, but in general I found it generally a time to reflect and see what's around me. It's the same thing, you guys. Same thing. I agree with you. You could just, take that opportunity to think about what you're doing in your life. Why am I like surfing? Like a rising star. Where we fix our health. We start to exercise. We focus on the spiritual knowledge. We do breath work. We do the Kalanta, the actual Ascension teachings, and we see things change and happen. You deal with paranormal, supernatural things. You'll see aliens and angels and all, even the elemental beings. If you can see higher dimensional beings, you can see lower dimensional beings like fairies, like brownies and sprites. Whatever life is down there in the elemental kingdom and the animal kingdom and the insects and the plants, subatomic life, quarks and protons, neutrons, these are all living conscious beings. And so it's a spectrum from this, to that, is the farther expanded you get, the more you remember of yourself, and it becomes a plural. You become a group of people. You become a collective. You're no longer just considering just your own individual personal identity and thinking. Now you're considering, I'm part of this large avatar group. You are the avatar, and I've seen that level of myself. I've seen myself seeing my lower selves, you could so to speak. Like you see this field of living beings around you, and you can recognize some of them, or you're familiar with some of them. But it's hard to explain, but I've seen collectives walk by me. A cloud of consciousness move by. It's not walking. Move by, and you sense it and feel it telepathically. You feel what that consciousness is about. And not in words. We don't use words in our vocal cords anymore at those levels. You're perceiving from just energy and its sacred geometries. That is your dialogue. That is your communication. And so that's something you can start to do here and start to expand that within yourself here. But realize that's definitely something we're all humans will be telepathic and psychic and floating and flying and all that stuff and teleporting and that will be just like, what's up? What's next, right? Being able to create and do things with matter forms, with your own, thoughts, And that's what we have to look forward to. Not to mention you'll be able to fly in your Merkaba field. You'll be able to. You don't have to worry about aging and diseases anymore. Your consciousness and your reality is a whole different experience. So let me show you the guardians real quick. Let's talk about some of these guardians. Actually, I use this one. I mean, it's show them. And if you guys are a member, it's available for you for free. But you have to download it inside the members area. It's in the YouTube member area or the Patreon member area. And I put the links below in the description. So... I gotta open the actual diagram. Let me do that in my Photoshop. Sorry. What you're gonna see, you guys, is the reality field where the guardians come from and how it's all connected, which is actually amazing that we get to remember this stuff once again. Okay. It's open finally, so let me connect to it. Now, everything started at the top. According to Asciano, though, they come in through the 8th dimension. Everything comes in through the 8th dimension, which is the metagalactic core. And that's where all the Orion gates are. That's the massive gates of Orion that the Guardians are protecting. And the whole war, the whole thing is about Earth. The special thing about Earth is these gates in Earth will lead to these gates in the metagalactic core. But then the consciousness goes to the universal Trinity and goes down or up or down, whatever. But these are their first guardians. This is what you call the universal Trinity. Notice the chakra. The chakra is a pale turquoise for the blue flame. The chakra, 14th chakra, is pale gold. No, pale. It's technically pale yellow. This is pale magenta. Not violet, but pale magenta, according to Asciano. And so we have these guardians of the universal Trinity, the Elohai, the Seraphi, and the Brahmarama. Okay? And these create orders. The blue flame has the emerald order, the gold flame, the gold order, and the Brahmarama, the violet flame, the amethyst order. And they have houses. You would say their DNA is perfect. You would say, if you're part of the violet flame, well, this house is representing the DNA of all the violet flame, or the undistorted DNA. Royal House of Avion, the Royal House of Vega, and the Royal House of Armatena, which is a higher version of Earth. Check it out. Here's Armatena in liquid light, density 4. Well, there's a lower version of itself called Gaia. There's a lower version of Gaia called Tara. There's a lower version of Tara called Earth. We're at the lowest level where we're still experiencing mortality and death. So the guardians are going to be coming from the universal Trinity. Blue flame, gold flame, violet flame. Elohai, Seraphi, Brahmarama. These are the plasma beings. They're suns, they're stars, crystal gas, crystal vapor, antimatter, hot plasma. That's what Rishi beings are. See, they're called Rishi. The Anahazi word is called Brenawa. I've heard Asciano call them both. You could say solar Rishi because they look like suns, or just call them Rishi, or just call them Brenawa, whatever your flavor. But these are collectives. They're not individuals. They're giant, massive collectives of consciousness. And these are the original primary founder guardians. Primary, the first ones. Now, each of these universal Trinity created extraterrestrials. By the way, these are called metaterrestrials. Okay, we're called metaterrestrials. When you're ascended master, you're called ultra-terrestrial. But these metaterrestrials, who are antimatter, plasma, they created races in density 4 down here. Starting in the 12th dimension, which if you follow this all the way, is the Anuhazi, which is called the Christos. 12th dimensional Christos. Okay? So these blue flame guardians in the 13th dimension, the Holy Elohai, created a race called the Anuhazi in the 12th dimension. And these gold flame races these are where all the reptilians come out of, and the insectoids, and the dinosaurs, and they're called dinoids. We get dinosaurs not because they came from Earth, but it's a universal thing. Just like reptilians are a universal thing. And this is where also the bird people come out of. Well, let's look at them. The Athean mantis beings, the Ceres avian hominid bird people, and the avian reptilians, which fell, became bad. That's why they're listed in red. And the Omicron dragon moths, which are actually insectoid, dinoid reptiles. They're described as dragon moths. So this is coming out of the Seraphi Brahmarama guardians, primary guardians. And so the Brahmarama are another primary guardians who created all the other peaceful races called the Yoni. They're a race that's aquatic ape. The dolphins. These are high level guardians, man. Dolphins, that's where dolphins come from. Dinosaurs and dolphins and birds are way evolved than humans. Look where humans are. Out of this, let's show you where humans are. Right here. Okay? We're not the center of the universe. We're a young race compared to reptilians and bird beings and cat people. We're much de-evolved race than these beings. We're not the center of jack shit, just so you know. And so, anyways, the guardians are coming out of these three flames, out of hot plasma. They're coming out of antimatter. That's where density is going to start coming. These are called the primal light fields, by the way. And the energy is not Kundalini. It's something called the Rishi life force. And so they're not even dealing with Kundalini way up there. Now you're going to get these races. These are the ones you could call founder races. Not really, these are the founder races, but these races can seed other races. These avatars seed other races below them in density 3. So notice the archangels are not even the highest level beings. You think they're the highest, but they're not. There's something called avatars and Rishi. So this is where our guardian heritage. They come from the universal Trinity, hot plasmic beings that are giant eternal collectives of consciousness. And by the way, it's important to say there is no darkness here. There is no distortion from the 11th dimension and higher. Everything is positive, love and light, law of one, all are God, all are equal. Everything below it is distortions. There is darkness in 11th dimension and down. You will have spiritual warfare, spiritual, you would say, death, chaos, destruction, because of this, what's happened with these fallen beings down here. They're the ones that started it. It was a positive, peaceful Anu who started the darkness, created destruction with our planet Armentana and Stargate 12. This was destroyed. This is why the Lyrans went to Sirius B and became the Lyran Syrians. We're no longer just Lyrans now. Now we're Lyran Syrians. Okay? Because of what happened long time ago. And I'm talking 250 billion years ago. So, we come from that high level, but just know that there's parts of us in these lower levels. And so we have some of us in the oversoul archangel level, These are our higher chakras. Here's your crown chakra. This is your thymus chakra. And this is your thalamus chakra. Okay? Here's your third eye chakra. Here's your throat chakra and your heart chakra. Okay? These are all higher level chakras, higher level Templar, higher level races. And also future timelines. Okay? Way future compared to what we are. The Guardians are coming from the future. They come to the past, and from their point of view, it's their past. They come to these ancient, freaking, decrepit, low-level consciousness, dangerous, dying consciousness. I'm sorry. And we're trying to help your ass. You know, the Guardians are trying to help the humans and their problems. And we got lots of problems. But just know that this is your identity. This is your potential that's in your junk DNA. The scientists call it junk. You're going to have your fourth strand in your junk. You're going to have your fifth strand in your junk. Your sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th. All humans have 12 strands, but they're only 3D down here. So that means 9 strands of your DNA are in your junk DNA. 9. So that's what spiritual ascension is trying to activate this. So I wanted to show the diagram with that. Sorry. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Much respect, homies. Yeah. Spiritual gangsters, spiritual G's. And remember, all those reptilians and insectoids and bird people, they left Vega. They went to Orion. So that was when they fell. They used to be good guys too. They used to be Law of One too, but then they fell. They made their choice. So Daniel B., Freedom Educator, Charles Thomas. I wouldn't agree with that, Freedom. You got to have discernment. Look in the world and see the fallen consciousness. You can see fear in the world and guilt in the world. It's still here. Have discernment. It's still here. Look. Check. Check your neighbor. Check your household. Check the news. It's still freaking here. Part of Earth falls. The Guardians tell us in Voyagers 2, check it out. There's a phantom Earth. There's still dangers. There's still murders. There's still sacrifices. There's still darkness here. This hasn't gone nowhere. Okay? Just saying. Yeah, and I would suggest not watching the news, apple pie goodness. The news is distortion. And generally speaking, social media is distortion. It's all manipulation. It's all being controlled. You're all being guided still, through these systems. And so we're like transmuting that. While we're here on Earth, the Guardians, we transmute that shit. We put boundaries on that stuff. And you guys, you know how your aura is around you? You don't allow other spirits or beings to come in your space. You can come out here, stay out here, and have a dialogue. You're not coming inside my energies. You see what I'm saying? We're healers. We're light workers. We know how to cleanse and purify spaces and our own aura. We use techniques to change and fix that which is not serving us. It's a way of life. It isn't something you just do on Sundays. It's an everyday thing that you walk and speak Christos, Christ consciousness, unity consciousness. Because that's what religions do. They make it a holiday. People in my own family, there's certain members who just think about God and Christ or Jesus or whatever on Christmas or Easter, and that's it. You guys, a spiritual journey is a lifestyle. You're actually working with spiritual energies, psychic energies, connection to God, connection to other angelic beings on a regular basis. It's not something reserved for certain days of the week or certain holidays. You do it all the time. This is the way you live, or not. You know, if you want to just stay half of your foot in one level in the 3D world and the other half in this world, you have that choice. But this is a spiritual awakening happening. There is a spiritual warfare happening. You want your children protected. You want your space protected. You want your energies to go into this evolution. And we do that through an active, and that's why even months ago I was telling you guys there's a quickening happening. Now here it is September. Definitely quickening happening. There is no time for part-time. Now there's only time for full-time focus. I mean, you still got to make a paycheck, right? You still got to take care of your kids or whatever. But realize that most of your life should be like a priestcraft. Most of our life should be thinking about this multidimensional reality. You are actively perceiving higher consciousness. Yes, you're actively having plans in your life that's geared towards evolving yourself. You actually know in your schedule right now, I'm going to meditate on this time and this day. I'm going to do breath work. I'm going to study the innerchristos teachings. And I'm going to finish this chapter. I'm going to finish this workshop, this book. It's actually in your lifestyle. It's actually planned. There is no time for part-time. This is a craft. This is a way of the guardians. You didn't come down to Earth and just kick back and watch and relax. What's on TV? What's on Netflix? Am I saying don't watch movies and shit? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you have what? 18 hours of waking. Are you awake for 18 hours? Maybe you're awake between 15 and 18 hours. What are you doing with your 18 hours? Are you working and just going to school and just playing video games and just doing social media? And this is a full-time lifestyle now. Those of you who are getting it, those of you feeling ascension symptoms, those of you who are making changes in your relationships, in your conversations, it's a full-time job. You don't have to consider it a job. Just realize that it is a contract. It is a covenant. We came down here and it was pretty serious to get here. Guardians make contracts to come here. The fallen angels don't give a shit. They'll break your free will. They'll go against your lower self. As a matter of fact, some of you seeing demons and seeing fallen angels and dark shit, scary stuff, that's because these beings are going against your free will. But it doesn't mean you're damned. It means you can learn about cleansing and purifying your life and making changes in your relationships, just like we just mentioned. And you become mindful. You're mindful of your space. You're mindful when you go out into the world. You can see, now when you see a person, you're not looking at their clothes, man. You're feeling their energies, their vibes. You're getting them from the subconscious. That's 3D speak. No, you're getting it from your higher chakra centers. You perceive. You have more than 5 senses. All humans have that potential. Most humans are not using that potential. Most humans, and I do mean billions of them, don't believe in psychic powers. They think we're making it up. They think it's all bullshit. Let them think that. They're the ones choosing not to expand. their morphogenetic field. They're actually, what's the opposite of expand? Fall, fragment, break down. So you will see New Age people thinking everyone's ascending. No, they're not. You will see New Agers say there's only a beautiful, perfect timeline. No, there's not. There's still people falling. There's still people in the darkness. You can't go save people. That's religion bullshit. Okay? You're not saving and helping. They help themselves. They save themselves. This is not new. The humans have been stuck in reincarnation for a long time. Okay? That's not stopping anytime soon. Even when the time cycle of Earth completes itself and starts a new one, there's still people fumbling around. Not everyone's ascending. That's the New Age bullshit lie that some people are talking about. When you guys have discernment, please have discernment. Look into the world. As a matter of fact, you'll hear Ashiana in her own workshop saying that some people are supposed to die. They have planned to die. And when you see lots of people dying, hello, they're fulfilling their service here. Some people are not getting it. And you will feel it when people are sending you judgment. That they're not enlightened, they're not awakened, and they're not going to be that way anytime soon. Nobody is damned. Okay? Even falling into the phantom isn't being damned. That is what you call... Still, there will still be some guardians trying to get you from there. But realize you don't want to be on this timeline because we know already the future of this timeline. If you stay in this timeline, it's taken over by the dragons and the Zeta Greys. The Zeta Greys. So some of you in chat saying that there's no more fallen. Hello. Not only is there going to be a phantom Earth, but in this timeline, you're going to be in what you call martial law of the dragons and the Zeta aliens. Okay? You were all given free will. Everyone's given free will. Creator made it that way. So some people are going to choose with their free will self-annihilation, self-destruction. That doesn't change because Earth is ascending or not. That's still here, vatos. And it's still there and everywhere in planets and star systems. Everyone has the ability to fall or rise. It will always happen. There's still you're not gonna have some time where everyone's enlightened and ascended. It's bullshit, New Age. Where are you getting your information from, homie? It's not from innerchristos teachings. That's a New Age thought process. Just saying. Okay, so let's be on the same page here. People ascend based on their own thoughts and actions. They are either ascend because they built their DNA or they didn't. No one's building your DNA for you. That would be against free will, man. You go save someone and help someone, that's against free will. That is not a Christos concept. They can't do it anyways. They have to do it themselves. I'm doing my work. Many of you Starseeds are doing your work. Your neighbor's not. Okay? Those people aren't. Many people are not doing the work, are not ascending. It's not being bad news. That's just the fact. That's just the way Ascension works. That's how Ascension works. That's how consciousness works. And we've been in this scenario for tens of thousands of years, since Atlantis, when they had the Luciferian covenant 50,000 years ago. Incarnating. That's what humans are doing. Reincarnating. not ascending. Hey, if everyone was ascending, why would we need starseeds? There wouldn't be no Indigo Children if everyone was doing well and on their own. If everyone was awakened to the law of one, which they're not, have discernment, check. There's the last time I checked, there's still billions of people following these distorted religions. They're not awakened. They don't have higher consciousness. They're not ascending. And this global ascension, it's not happening this time around. If there is going to be some singularity, it's not happening now. Okay? Not only that, homies, guardians, there's problems in parallel Earth. There's problems in inner Earth. Those of you speaking that everything is A-OK do not have discernment. You're doing a disservice by speaking that. It's dangerous talk. So, the reality is there's only millions of people who are ascending. Millions. And remember what 10 billion people is. We did it on a calculator. It's 0.001%. It's a tenth of 1%. A tenth of 1% are ascending. What she was. Okay, we'll calm down. What she was. Akayes. Masutas. So the guardian angelic nations, we have, if there's 10 million of them, I don't know all their names, but we have the main ones. The main guardians coming from the blue flame, Elohai, are the Lyran called Anuhazi. Their name is Anuhazi. They're from the Lyran star system. So you might as well stop calling them just Lyran. Call them by what they're called, really. They're called Anuhazi. So the beings that live in Sirius, you just call them Syrians? You see what I'm saying? We have the Anu came out of the blue flame too, but that's the race that fell. So they're technically a guardian race that can seed other races, but they're a fallen guardian race. The Anu Elohim. The Anu Elohim came out of the blue flame. But half of their DNA is also from the violet flame, so they're not pure blue flame. The Anu Elohim are feline, but they're also aquatic apes, which remember I showed you on a diagram is part violet flame. So, but they're still considered Elohai, just a fallen part. And you're going to get Pleiadians coming out of the blue flame. You're going to get, well, let's look at that real quick. Now, this isn't 10 million different aliens, right? But you can see the ones who are. The ones that are blue are the immediate races interacting with our human drama. There's millions of others, okay? We're just talking about the ones involved, like the Anuhazi, like the Lyran Syrians, the Arcturans, the Etheric avians. That's Gaia. Remember, that's etheric matter. So you're gonna have, that's pretty cool. Etheric avians, like drifting in like some, like levitating and shit. Cetaceans. That's whales, dolphins, and porpoises. So those are blue flame. Some of the blue flame. There was a positive race called the Elohim, not the dark Elohim way up here. Not the Anu Elohim. But it was part of the Anunnaki, but a nice. They were nice for a while. They're actually the ones that became dark and started introducing the Patriarchy in Atlantis. So they're not always, this race doesn't stay positive. But anyways, there's Arcturians who are nice. There's other cat people called Leonines that are nice. There's aqua hominids. That means they're like mermaid people, type of people. Pleiadians, Nordics, the Blondes, Sasquatch, avian Nordics. That means bird type of Nordics. Syrians. Remember, Syrians are a big deal to us. You would call the Syrians the closest race to us. The Syrians and the Pleiadians are the closest race. In the third place, I would say, are the Arcturians. So mostly the guardians we are connected to are Syrians, Pleiadians, and Arcturians, but obviously there's more. And then there's the blue skin Azarites and the blue angels. Now those are the main beings coming out, guardians coming out of the blue flame. Okay? Then you're going to have the guardians coming out of the gold flame. Which there's only two races left, that main races left that are still positive. That's the Athean, Mantis, and the Ceres. If you guys have seen that movie, dang, I forgot what it's called, but there was a movie with Harrison Ford and someone else, like a kid who was dealing with a mantis being, and this is likely what I'm talking about, what it looks like. Ceres are just basically birds, avians. Like you have the Ceres Pleiadians. They're actually part of what made the Pleiadians. Why we got some bird energy. Thank you for the hearts, Holy One, whoever's doing that. We have the gargoyles that fell, though. You know, some of the bird beings are negative. But here are some of the other guardians. But anyways, there's as you can see, a spiritual war. There's a lot of dark beings that are harming us, and it's not like limited only to Earth. There's warfare happening in Tara. Remember, it goes all the way up to the 11th dimension, so there's war happening in Gaia. There's even some war happening in dimensions 10 and 11. Those are the dark avatar levels. And so it's not until you get to the 12th dimension Christos avatars where it's no more, it's all blessed, positive, love and light beings. Only. No darkness up here. So this is our heritage, you guys, and that's what the guardians are. They're higher evolved beings, and they seeded other races, and each race will follow a creed. They will follow a creed of darkness, or they will follow the original creed. This is the original creed. Sacred spiritual science teachings of what's called, the ancient word for innerchristos is called Maharata. Say it with me. Maharata. Maharata. And actually, that's reference to the 12th dimensional Christ, right? Well, that's why there's something called the Maharic shield. Maharic. Maharata. Christ shield. The Christ shield. We learned that technique from these teachings, the Maharic shield, the Christos shield of protection and connection to your divine blueprint. So this is a big part of what we do in this work, is connecting to this level of consciousness within ourselves. Remember, all humans have this in their junk DNA. All of these strands, all humans, not some, not a chosen, not an elite. All humans have 12-strand potential. But it's all fragmented up in their junk until they go on a spiritual journey and live a Christed way instead of a fallen way. You following this? This is why I tell you to have discernment. Most humans are following this creed. It's an anti-Christic creed. It's an anti-life creed. It's a phantom creed. You're falling. It's a falling creed. You're falling, not expanding. This creed still is here. Those New Agers saying that everyone's ascending, no. This consciousness is still on Earth. It's billions of humans on Earth following this creed. Go search on Google how many people are following Christianity, how many people are following Islam. Hello, have discernment, Starseeds, Indigos. This is our creed, vatos. We're treating each other with love and joy and grace. Do you know what it means to be graceful? To be grace, to have grace? How about gratitude? Do you have some gratitude in your life? Do you respect people? Do you have can live in trust and live in fearlessness and mindfulness? Are you impeccable in your energies? Are you accountable for your energies? What's up, homie? Spiritual G's. Achiwa. Peace, love, and light to you all, says Sarah. You guys, that's how we send it into the world. We speak it. We share it. We don't speak and send fear and guilt and shame into the world. That's phantom. You're just making the phantom bigger on Earth. You see, there's billions of people making phantom strong. And only 0.001% of us bringing in law of one consciousness, bringing in unity consciousness. Have perspective, please. Know that humans will fall. We're trying to reach as many as we can. So there's a portion of us who keep the Christos alive, who keep it available for the rest. If we all left, who's representing 12th dimensional consciousness? Who's bringing in indigo ray or blue ray or green ray? Most humans are down in the groin and near the butt and the ego. Okay? That's their language. That's their slang. That's their lifestyle. They think we're full of shit. They don't like us talking bad about Jehovah or you know, what is it? Brahma or whatever the Islamic God, Muhammad, or that's not Muhammad, Allah. You know, that's what they resonate with. That's their God. That's their supposed, creator. So that's their behavior. That's the way they talk. Man, like, let's say women, American woman, go in and visit that country. Just women in general, you get treated like shit in some of these macho, chauvinist freaking countries and these religions putting a woman down. That's patriarchy for you, baby. Okay? We're equal. Divine feminine, divine male. Not one better than the other. Not God, goddess. That's not what the Guardians say. Okay? So this is our heritage, and that's why some of us can see Lyran cat people. Hey, and even though the gold flame is mostly fallen, well, you can still connect to a dragon that's loving. You can still connect to bird, mantis, maybe even some of the grays are good. You know? Maybe you'll find a cute little Zeta who's sweet and loving. Right? They exist, just not many of them. Because their whole race, when I say whole race, I mean their race in general is fallen. The dragon race in general is fallen. Okay? And there's something called Odedicron, which is an avian reptilian, is fallen. Those major races are fallen. And so that is part of what the Guardians deal with, this fallen consciousness. This patriarchy didn't come into recent religions, you guys. That started happening in Atlantis, way before America or Spain or Europe or England, before Catholicism, before all of that. You were already putting down women in Atlantis. Understand? You were already teaching fear, guilt, and shame in Atlantis. It's not coming from nowadays. It's ancient. Your book, your Holy Bible, it was not changed yesterday. It was changed a freaking long before your great grandpa and great grandmama, great what? That 50,000 years ago, homie, was the Luciferian covenant. Your holy books don't even resemble what it used to be. It's been rewritten, edited, changed, stuff taken out, stuff put in so long ago. Whatever your religion, there's 4,000 plus religions. They were all manipulated, controlled. Now you're serving patriarchy. Now you're an all male club. Now the women are subjugated to coming out of the rib of the holy male, not holy male with the F. What's this confusion? Why do women have to hide their faces and be subservient to the king of the castle? What the F? I love you guys. I love you. Machiwa. Okoye. It's like ugliness. We don't want to see that ugliness anymore. It's so when you see males like this, when you look to the men in the world who behave like this, it is quite frankly disgusting. It is a primitive, low-level consciousness, homie. No wonder women go become lesbians, because men can be such pricks, right? That's what the society is mostly like this. Even when you have freedom in America, women are still treated differently. Okay, but then you have a bunch of women-only groups, and it's like, what are we doing? Oh, man, when I have a freaking retreat in Sedona, it's gonna be men and women together, not some special room for men only or women only. You know. You got women issues to deal with, you can go deal with them together, but when it comes to spirituality, we're supposed to be embracing all of each other. Not some patriarchy, not some matriarchy. Even though the Lemurians were matriarchy, just realized they were serving the law of one. But it's still effed up. I'm sorry, man, but it's still effed up. And don't forget, don't forget that you reincarnate as a male, and then the next time you reincarnate as a female, because the twin flame, it's a pairing. You don't have mostly male lifetimes. You don't have mostly female lifetimes. Get it in your head. Understand that you're equally male and equally female because they're pairings. Numbers matter. There's 144 of you. What's 144 divided by 2? 72. You're going to be male 72 times, whether you like dudes or guys or not. You're going to be 72 times female, whether you like women or not. Guess what? You're both male, you're both female. It's called being androgynous. It's called being magnetic and electric, honey. You're both. Eventually, there is no more penises or vaginas. Humans evolve out of this. Eventually, you won't have babies anymore. Eventually, you're just going to be energy. You're going to be an energy. You won't be having sex no more because there is no body to have sex with. It's almost hysterical when you see people calling God a boy and a girl a goddess. It's funny to the Christos. It's funny. It's not. You're only a boy and a girl for a little while in your spiritual evolution. When you see a magnificent archangel or avatar, you're like, what is the gender? I can't tell. Because you can't tell. There is no gender. Come on, starseeds, be honest. You have clairvoyance. You can see some of these higher evolved beings. Do they look feminine? Do they look masculine? There is no more genderized concepts. Maybe you want to argue with and say, no, that's not true, Davian. I love you. We don't have to agree. We can actually still be friends and not agree. Did you know that? Did you know you can still be vato locos and not have the same belief system and ideas? You guys don't have to believe anything I'm saying or what the inner Christos says or what anyone says. You can actually create your own religion if you wanted to. A lot of people actually do that, actually. They will take some truth from there. They'll take some truth from there. And they'll add some truth from there. And now they got their own truth. Well, you know, there is no dogma in the inner Christos law of one. But there is a certain way that we behave and treat each other. There is something called the 12... Let's do that real quick. It's in the Cathara 1. You guys want to learn Cathara 1, Cathara 2, Cathara 3, Cathara 4. It's called the attitudes of... Let me go to the right one, guys. You gotta see what page it's on. And one day, you know how religious people give verses of the Bible so you can go find it? We're going to do that with Voyagers. Go check page so-and-so, right? It's at the beginning. I'll just go through the pages and find it. What? It's called the 12 Attitudes of Mastery. And love is recognition of the truth of the all-oneness. Of course, these break down into greater explanations. The second attitude of mastery, I'm going to make a video about this too, is grace. Allowing the all-oneness to be what it is, regardless of whether it suits you. Living perpetual forgiveness. That is our second attitude of mastery. The third one is gratitude. Appreciating the all-oneness, knowing your aliveness. And that's what the video today I released about was about your aliveness. The fourth one, attitude, is reverent respect. Acknowledging and giving to the all-oneness. And we keep saying all-oneness, that means everyone. Acknowledging and giving respect to everyone. That is our creed. That is the Guardian Creed. This is not biblical creeds. This is not religion creeds. We showed you what their creeds are. Responsibility is co-creating with, serving, and being able to respond to the all-oneness. That means everyone. Trust, knowing the power and the love of the all-oneness, everyone. Accountability, being in a state of truth with all-oneness, everyone. Impeccability, upholding and protecting the all-oneness. That means upholding and protecting everyone. Mindfulness, loving, nurturing, and being attentive, you know already now, all-oneness, everyone. So you being loving, nurturing, and attentive to everyone. Fearlessness, recognizing the eternal, infinite nature and unconditional love of everyone. Engaged detachment, number 11. Permitting the everyone to be without assigning critique, condemnation, or value judgment. You notice I talk a lot about judgment. Understanding the isness of and validating the all-oneness. And finally, 12. Joy. Choosing to be the embodied all-oneness. This is what you get from these inner crystals teachings. You're not going to get that from science. And you're not getting that from religion. That is pro-life. What I just read to you. That is pro-earth, pro-human. The other creed is against life. It takes life. Sacrifice is taking life. Sacrifice Jesus? No! God, creator, did not sacrifice and murder animals. And notice they have to murder animals, make sacrifices all the time. You have to murder little sheeps, what the F? There's no, that's the false creed. You feel it. You recognize anger as being a false creed. I just gave you the actual real creeds. The 12 attitudes of mastery. And if you want to look that up yourself, it's in Voyagers, page 15. So, and each one will break it down. There's something called the 12 responsibilities of mastery. One of them is called self-actualization. That's freedom from the victim-victimizer blame game and willingness to be accountable for all perceivable manifestations. That means what you create as direct projections of intended learning from the personal Christos DNA template. It'll take me too long to read these, but there's also something called the 12 responsibilities of mastery, which is on page 16 of Voyagers. No, I said Voyagers, I mean Cathara. It's on Cathara Manual. You just look up Ashiana Dean Cathara 1 and you'll find it. And that's why you'll have Selene or Indigo Wizard or Starman will also help you find those things. We're in service. What do you think a guardian is, you guys? We're in service. We serve others. That's what we do. And so the other side will serve only themselves. They're only in their own best interest. We're for everyone's interest. We're for co-creation. We're egalitarian for all. You just heard the attitudes of mastery. We're for everyone. The all oneness. Man, I love this work. You can just find one paragraph in this work and learn so much from it and appreciate it and have gratitude. It's beautiful. You start to resonate with these teachings. It's beautiful. And it makes changes. You find changes within yourself and you start to value all the people in chat. You start to value the people in the world, the people in your family, the people in your relationships. You see people differently. And not just people, plants and animals and elementals, all beings, all life. We start to value and think of everyone differently. We are developing the characteristics of mastery. We're not perfect down here. I'm not perfect. Ashiana's not perfect. We're not perfect. We're becoming perfect. We're becoming a master. We're in the process of becoming it. It takes time because it takes training, practice in your daily life, in your daily conversations. Practice unity. Practice these values, you guys. It's not dogma. It's not saying you have to respect everyone. But if you want to raise your consciousness, if you want to expand your morphogenetic field, that's what you do. You walk this path. You speak this path. Thank you guys for being here with me. I love you. Much respect. I think maybe Indigo Wizard's phone died or he had to go. And that's okay. That's why we have 3 moderators now. So to all those who did the work of unlocking and increasing frequency, have fun losing all your emotions and joy as you move to the knock at the door. Yeah, brother, sister. This is most people choose that path. Unfortunately, they don't get it, and they're just not ready for it. And they're going to find out, in the religion, they tell you you're going to become before God and judged before God. No, you're going to be judged by your own soul. Your own soul's, and it's not judgment. Your own soul's going to say, what's up? What's going on? You wasted this whole life? You wasted my life. The soul has projected you here.